Mark and Joan worked hard their whole lives carefully saving for their dream of a stress-free retirement life one day. As they saved money over the years, occasionally they pulled money from their savings bucket for expenses like their kids' college, paying for weddings, and replacing things like cars and fences when they needed repair. But their bucket was still pretty full, or so they thought. When it came time to actually retire, they looked at their nest egg and were faced with new stresses. Now that they were no longer adding to their savings bucket, how do they budget for income and invest for the rest of their lives based on what they had? Suddenly, their nest egg didn't look as big. Mark worried they didn't have enough to last for decades of retirement. Joan worried something would happen to the stock markets and rob them of their savings. They felt like their old strategy had worked, but things were different now that they planned to use their savings over time. They didn't know where to turn and wondered if it was too late to make things right. Then a friend told them about Jennings & Associates financial advisors. Mark and Joan met with a strategist at Jennings & Associates and shared their personal goals and aspirations. The Jennings team immediately examined Mark and Joan's assets, lifestyle, goals, and needs by using some of the most cutting-edge technology available. In their next meeting, their personal advisor went on to explain the Jennings & Associates proprietary strategy for asset management and distribution, called the LID strategy for retirees' concerns of longevity, inflation, and downturn risks. He described their LID strategy much like enjoying a cup of coffee. While many of us enjoy a piping hot cup of coffee, we all know it has to be managed differently in different stages of its preparation for your use. The beans must be nurtured. Next, they must be harvested and preserved in a can, and finally brewed and ready for use and enjoyment. None of us consume coffee directly from the grounds in the can. We understand that it must be nurtured, harvested, and preserved, and finally ready for use and enjoyment. But many of us try to enjoy our money straight from the nurtured stage, and without properly segmenting our money, we can dramatically decrease our enjoyment and results. Jennings uses the same disciplined approach to all sustainable cycles. Stage 1 is nurturing, used to generate future income, called the nurturing segment. Next is the preserving and harvesting segment of your allocation. This segment is in preparation for use in coming months and years. Finally, the third and final is the use segment, ready for your consumption and enjoyment. Mark and Joan learned to divide their assets into 3 distinct segments, each playing a critical role in their confidence and learning when to use the appropriate assets. And just like coffee, they don't want to have to eat coffee grounds before the time is right for their use. Just like with hot coffee, Jennings recommends lids so you won't get burned. Jennings helped Mark and Joan prepare by using their LID asset strategy, preparing for longevity, inflation, and downturns. Now, twice a year, Mark and Joan meet with Jennings & Associates. One meeting is to discuss their upcoming needs and wants. The second meeting is to discuss appropriately allocating the nurturing, harvesting and preserving, and use segments. So, in an instance that there are potential gains in the market, the gains will be harvested to help replenish the use. In an instance that there are no market gains, the preservation segment can be relied on for future use. Mark and Joan were happy knowing that they have planned for the unexpected by using a lid designed by Jennings. Ready to make a big financial change in your life? Come drink a hot cup of coffee with us at Jennings & Associates. Adopt the proprietary lid strategy and share it with friends. Nurture, preserve, use. Plan with confidence. Put a lid on it. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA, SIPC.